News just in. ActionSA has rejected the inclusion of Xolani Khumalo in the reshuffled Ekurhuleni mayoral committee. It comes just hours after Mayor Nkosindiphile Xhakaza announced the shake-up. ActionSA leader Herman Mashaba says his party had turned down Xhakaza's offer on numerous occasions. Skara Mufukwane has his finger on the pulse and joins us now live for this update. I mean, just give us the latest here, because it was an update and a shake-up that was meant to really offer some sense of understanding of the dire situation in Ekurhuleni. And now the ActionSA is saying, no, they will not be part of this.
It's laughable, to say the least, you know, Arabile. There's confusion in that shake-up itself, but we're hoping to get more clarity from the municipality just in a short while. But ActionSA releasing a statement a short while ago saying that they refuse to join the failing and corrupt Ekurhuleni government. Just to quote a few words that Herman Mashaba put in that statement, saying, it is a false statement currently circulating which purports changes to the mayoral committee in Ekurhuleni. That statement seems to be fabricated, Arabile, and does not reflect any engagement or agreement involving ActionSA. Further on, it says, Arabile, it says, our position has been very clear on every occasion that we will not lend credibility to an administration that has overseen the lawless and deteriorating of service delivery in the city. It's very confusing now as matters stand right now. You know, earlier on we pointed out Xolani Khumalo is supposed to be attending a court appearance in Palm Ridge, and there is the swearing in that is happening in a few minutes around 9 o'clock. But let's get more clarity with Pagamile Mbengashe, who speaks on behalf of the municipality here in Ekurhuleni. Confusing times, we're hoping that you could put clarity to it. ActionSA are saying they were not consulted, they do not form part of the reshuffle, at least their member, Xolani Khumalo, will not be forming part of this new administration or to the mayoral committee. Put clarity to us. Was he consulted? Was he not consulted? What is the status?
Good morning, Scar, and good morning to your viewers. Unfortunately, I can't speak on political matters. I speak on behalf of the administration. What I can confirm is that the Executive Mayor's office did release a statement yesterday talking about changes to the mayoral committee. As you did state, there will be a swearing-in session. After that, there will be a small press junket, where you'll be able to ask questions, and I think the mayor will provide more clarity from his side.
It is confusing, though. I'm going to stick to the theme, Dr. Bengashe. With matters like this, one would suppose that there is prior consultation and prior agreement to such before moves are made. It would be very embarrassing now to learn that Xolani Khumalo was not, or ActionSA was not consulted, as they state in that statement.
Skara, I'm barred by the Public Service Act. I'm an administrator. I don't comment on political activity. But what we can reassure the residents of Ekurhuleni is that the administration, we will continue with our work. Service delivery won't stop. There won't be any interruptions. And we have a job to do as administrators.
Well, the residents who are confused as well, and we're hoping that you'd put more clarity as to it. The changes that were effected overnight, are they interventions which there have been, the municipality has been speaking of, about the confidence which is lacking from the residents?
Look, it's the prerogative of the executive mayor. He did say in other press engagements that he's done a review of his mayoral committee, and from that he's taken a decision. But like I said, I don't want to speak on behalf of the mayor. The mayoral spokesperson or the mayor will be able to give more clarity as to how they came to that decision.
The reflection of it, service delivery on the ground. I mean, you walk around the city, it has deteriorated, to say this, to some extent. How will this changes to that mayoral committee translate, at least, to the residents of Ekurhuleni?
Look, we have a robust constitution, and part of that constitution, there's a principle of separation of powers. The administrative side must continue their work. Us as administrators, we wake up, we go to work, we make sure that there's service delivery happening across the city. You may remember that the new city manager launched the Fixing the Frontline program, and that's where our focus is. We're going to get the depots working. We're going to make sure our workers are in a good space and there's employee wellness. So from our side as administration, we are confident that service delivery will continue and it will improve over time.
Just lastly, there has been, the issue about springs, the gold rush there. You mentioned that there are interventions and plans which were in motion to be implemented. How far are we with regards to that?
Not to give too much away, but there will be activity at the site today. I think from about 10 o'clock, you're invited to go to the site and you'll see how we're going to intervene and make sure that we did give a commitment that by the end of the week, that site will be closed and the holes will be covered. So part of that action will start today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mbengashe. Well, Arabile, I would say, I'm no wiser now. Before I went into this conversation, we were hoping to get clarity as to where we stand with regards to that statement being issued by the ActionSA. But I believe you do have a representative from ActionSA. Perhaps that they could give us more clarity as to where the party stands in terms of this reshuffle which happened late last night, Arabile.
Yeah, reshuffle or a reshuffle? Big question mark. ActionSA National Chairperson Michael Beaumont joining us to unravel this a little bit further for us. Michael, thank you so much for the time. Let's get some clarity here. So there was no engagement from the Mayor Nkosindiphile Xhakaza with regards to having Xolani Khumalo in his mayoral seats here. What exactly is the situation as it stands?
Well, you asked me to provide clarity. I might get more clarity from you, actually. ActionSA is perplexed by this announcement. Obviously, the mayor has been burning up the telephone calls to ActionSA leadership and our local structures, trying to bring us into this coalition. And certainly, while our structures have listened, at all times we've indicated we're not available. As late as last night, a meeting was called with a so-called group of parties that may support this new coalition government, and ActionSA made itself unavailable for that meeting because we don't want to form part of what is clearly becoming a corrupt and failed government. We communicated this, and yet it was astonishing to see the press statement go out announcing ActionSA mayoral candidate Xolani Khumalo into the position as an MMC in this cabinet, despite the party indicating that this is not something we were available for. So it is a very strange situation, and it really points to a mayor and a government that is chaotic. It is unprecedented for a mayoral committee to be announced in a major city with political parties who aren't even part of that government. It's a strange dynamic.
Under what conditions would you be available to serve, particularly in the Ekurhuleni government?
We're not available under any circumstances in the approach to this local government election. I think the voters have seen over the last 5 years that the leadership of this municipality has failed spectacularly, both in terms of basic service delivery and the rollout of that, but also in terms of the revelations arising from the ad hoc committee in respect of serious corruption taking place in the Ekurhuleni metro. We think there needs to be a clean sweep. We have the candidate who we think has the biggest broom to go out there and brush the corruption and the criminality and the gangsterism out of that city. But ultimately, we can't find ourselves co-opted into failure and corruption, and at the same time, providing an alternative to the residents of Ekurhuleni. That would be a moral contradiction.
So, assumedly, Xolani Khumalo knew that the offer had been made and he himself has also rejected it. Is that correct?
Yes, of course. We've been in discussions with him over an extended period of time. And certainly, while there is an excitement or an enthusiasm to recognize that going into government gives you a platform to do certain things, we also have to be alive in terms of which government we are forming a part of. The notion that ActionSA and Xolani Khumalo, whose brand has been built from being outside of the system and fighting for ordinary South Africans, being co-opted into a government that represents so much of what's wrong, ultimately we think would be a failure to the residents of Ekurhuleni. We think we need a government led by Xolani Khumalo, not one in which he follows.
Yeah. what is this? What do you think this means, though, for residents in the short term? Because one would think that perhaps if you believe that it is a corrupt government as it currently stands, your insistence in being there, highlighting the significant changes that needed to take place from within might be more helpful, possibly, some might say. Does this not impact residents in the short term? Because they're the ones that now suffer at the behest of this.
Well, I think there's 2 points to what you're raising. The first of which is we've come to learn in coalitions that when ActionSA leads coalitions like we do in the city of Tshwane, we have stable and effective government that is capably led, government that fights corruption, improves audit outcomes, and delivers services to all of its citizens. When we find ActionSA co-opted under the leadership of mayors who have proven that they cannot provide that kind of leadership, then the ActionSA flame is extinguished by the failures of leadership and being tainted by association by leaders who lack the imagination to lead complex cities with pressing challenges. Ultimately, it is our view that had we gone ahead and joined this coalition, we would have found the ActionSA flame being extinguished by political parties that appear to have a different agenda to the one of service delivery and fighting corruption, and we can't tolerate that. It would be a violation of our values as an organization.
Yeah.
But I also think we need to address your question in terms of what this means. It means more instability. When you have a mayor who comes out and he announces a mayoral committee and includes in that mayoral committee political parties that have openly rejected his advances to form part of a coalition, it says that this is unstable. It says that it's going to be chaotic. It's all the things South Africans are tired of seeing. And from what we're hearing, there are going to be other political parties withdrawing from that coalition because of the way this thing has been handled. And ultimately, serious question marks have to be asked about whether this mayor has the depth of leadership to lead a complex city like Ekurhuleni.
Yeah, I mean, big question marks, though, also on deeper governance paralysis out of Ekurhuleni as a whole here. Is that going to be what is at risk here of being entrenched? Or could there still be room for maybe more constructive engagement and collaboration, especially across party lines? Because that is the impact right now.
Well, ActionSA will never make itself unavailable for collaboration and cooperation, but it has to be negotiated on a platform where we agree to what the government is going to do to change the existing issues. This is our problem with the government of national unity. It was set up where political parties gifted the presidency to the ANC without ever demanding a single reform in exchange for their support. And once their president was free to do as he wishes, and the same effectively would apply to this instance. If there's not going to be a real discussion around what reforms are going to take place and what accountability we're going to see for serious cases of corruption that have been exposed in the ad hoc committee in Parliament, specifically in Ekurhuleni, then ultimately we're just going to form part of the same problem, and ActionSA is not going to allow ourselves to become part of the problem.
Michael, fully in support of the party leader, Herman Mashaba, as Joburg mayoral candidate?
Well, as you know, I've always been in support of his candidature. Herman Mashaba is a candidate who brings what no other candidate can bring to Johannesburg, and that's a track record of fixing the broken city. And if residents want to go ahead and have their city fixed, they need to look towards candidates who have done it before so they can believe it can be done again. But ultimately, the party will make that decision this week and make the announcement on Saturday. I myself am a candidate.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, we wait to see which way the party goes.
All right. Let's have a chat after that formally happens. Why don't we? And hopefully we'll get more from yourselves. ActionSA, that there is